And welcome everybody, it is Red Leaf Retrocast time. Episode 148. Yeah, almost 150. So in this episode, today, we got a CMLL women's show from Arena, Mexico, drawing 6,700 people to the arena. But did it deliver? What did they do right? What did they do wrong? What did I think of the matches? That will be followed by the Stardom Cinderella tournament, which I haven't really discussed much at all to this point. I didn't even do a preview, but I did have some previewing thoughts, especially if you're a member of the Discord or you've seen what I say on Twitter and whatnot. And then kind of just an overall indie roundup that won't be much to say there. If you're looking for more specific indie stuff, there's always the Pure J podcast that I do with myself and JPQ over on the Patreon, patreon.com/redleafretrocast. It's on the Jaguar Nagayo tier. Very much enjoy that. It's a monthly episode, along with LLPW for some retro there. And speaking of retro, All Japan Women Classics. We're doing 3 classic episodes to be fully caught up and getting ready for Queendom in 1995, which will be covered in the next episode. So this is all a prelude to essentially the big Aja Kong Minami Toyota title match. So that'll be in the next episode. But this one is covering the lead up to that and the Queendom, what was it? Success? They had a dual Queendom show event. Let's see here. Success was on March 21st. That's what we're doing today. And then Victory will be in the next episode. So there you go. Once that's all finished, then it goes on to myself and Rickee. And the Rickee block, AEW Revolution. Long time coming there. Along with some New Japan Cup thoughts loose. It's been a rough ride in New Japan. Is it going the way of Dragongate for me and my interest? Well, there you go. Listen further if you want to skip then. Hey, timestamps for every section is in the description of every episode. And then the fallout of WCW, what was it, Uncensored or whatever, from the year 2000. A show where it was plugging the return of Bischoff and Russo in creative. How will bookers coexist? My oh my. Especially when thinking about Stardom from 2020, I guess late 2022 and onward and up until the departure of Ogawa. Very relatable. So that's what we got going on there. Sports-wise, hey, golf is right around the corner. Went all weekend. One of my friends went into some trouble with his cars being stolen. Yes, plural. That's a story in itself. And then bowling season is about a month away from ending. And doing well. I'm averaging about 227 overall this season. So I'm definitely in the upper echelon there. Very proud of how I had that really rough November, early December, being sick for about 6 weeks, basically. My average had plummeted to, I think it was like 210 and 212 in these leagues. And I've just been on fire since I recovered, essentially. December, January, February, perfect games, 800 series multiple times over, through 728 last night, or Friday night. So, golf and bowling. There we go. Let's play a drop here. And we'll get on to some CMLL.
I like it when the bassline's roll.
Yes, CMLL ran an all-women's show. Kind of a, I can't say it's a first of its kind, obviously. But for CMLL in Mexico, this is kind of areas of known, parts unknown. Who knows what they were going to draw? I wasn't personally expecting a sellout of, the 10, 12,000 that Arena Mexico has been doing over the last year or so. And look, they got 6,700 people to this thing. That is more than All-Star Grand Queendom from 2023. That got the 5,500. That's almost as much as the historic crossover with New Japan in 2022. So if we look at it in that case to the largest women's wrestling shows in the last 25 years, this is a great success for women's wrestling. What did Evolution get again from WWE all those years ago? Let's look that up really quick. Evolution, Wikipedia. That is not it. That is the group Evolution. Here we go. 10,900 at Nassau Coliseum back in 2018. So that's still the top dog there. With Ronda Rousey at the peak of her wrestling drawing power, I suppose. The peak of the Mae Young Classic era. Tony Storm, Io Shirai was on that show. So CMLL getting the number two women's show the last 25 years. Stardom number 3 with that 5,500 marker. So we're starting to see a lot more strides in women's wrestling and drawing and people taking chances. I'm not sure CMLL is going to do a show like this over again, but what was strange to me was the way they booked it and set it up was a giant Copa seating battle royal, then a Cybernetico to get a lot of people on the card. I understand that. But the way it was set up was they were missing Stephanie Vacker, Tessa Blanchard, and a few of their other top stars. And what was strange to me was the fact that they left out their top women's star on the show in Stephanie Vacker. They had already had her booked for a Stardom show at Cork and Hall, being that this was back on March 8th. And when was that Cork and Hall from Stardom? Was that March 9th? Because there would be no way she could have done double duty there. Yeah, so... Well, no, she could have done it. Yeah, because the Cork and Hall was on the 10th. So, I don't know. Maybe they didn't want to risk injury to this whole Julia title change, but to have it kind of lined up where Vacker was not on the show, I think was a gross misstep. And considering Tessa Blanchard's been kind of this huge bullet point in their division, but they they wanted all Mexicans on the show was the idea. But I mean, you had Puerto Ricans and Zeuxis, and you get the idea. There was people from other countries represented here, so I didn't really buy that reasoning behind it. But when I was listening to Observer Radio and Meltzer kind of mentioned this in passing, I'm not sure he had his finger on the pulse on this one, because he was saying that it was weird that they were doing this without any American stars from like AEW. And I just thought to myself, what would they have to do? What possibly drawing power would AEW have to do at a Arena Mexico event? I mean, Britt Baker's injured, Hayter's injured, Thunder Rosa had just come back, but she don't look very good. I suppose she could have been on the show, but with her AAA background, maybe not. It was a weird comment that didn't make much sense to me. Now, talent missing from the show aside, I honestly thought, the Cybernetico was nothing special. It's kind of a mess, as you would expect. Marcella ended up winning this thing, where, okay, big veteran wins against the various other people, Vaccarita, Olympia, Persephone, Metallica, Amapola. You get the idea. There was a lot of these veteran group people that aren't quite top being pushed. So that wasn't very good. Nautica and Sexy Soul won a very fun opener that was simple for what they were doing against Amazona and Metal. And then we get to the heart of the card here, and I thought this was the best match on the show. Reina Isis defeats Zeuxis in the Mexican National Women's title match. It went 16.5 minutes. Yeah, I thought it was far and away the best. I went 2 out of 3 rec on it. You know, it's about 3.5 stars, depending what you think. But Isis was on her A game. I thought for her kind of being in her more... when she's in her technico character, that's when she actually shows out and starts doing tornadoes and stuff, while the heel character isn't really doing anything flashy, so to say, and most of the stuff ends up looking bad. But Zeuxis as just this powerhouse shit kicker, really enjoyed this. Do recommend that. In a match that didn't quite live up to expectations was Silhouette defeating Catalina for the Japan Women's title. This thing was like in Reina for a while, years back. Silhouette don't got it no more. Not that she had a whole lot to begin with, but she is very much slowed down, and Catalina is looking better and better, more comfortable in her role. She's improving with each month that goes forward. So despite the kind of low level of what was given here, I thought it was effective in the sense to continue to get Catalina over. Now, she also has a title, and it's funny how they wanted to have the CMLL Japan Women's title defended and Silhouette win over Catalina's Mexican national title. I think that... No, what is it? What does she have? What title does she have? She has something. There's a million titles in this company. And the main event, Andromeda and Scotty, what a pairing that is. The high-flying Andromeda and the powerhouse Scotty defeating Chicas Indomitables, Charchita and Uvia. 12.5 minutes. This was short as shit. And with the exception of a few fun spots and some decent crowd heat, I thought this match was a total mess. A lot of people just weren't clicking at the same time. Maybe Archita and Juvia were not thrilled to be in the Arena Mexico main event and losing their titles that they've had for fucking years at this point. But regardless, it has a really low rating on wrestling data here. It's at 2.47 out of 6, which is super low. I mean, it's the lowest. No, the beginning of the Battle Royal is lower, but that hardly counts. Kind of had a 50% approval rate on wrestling data, but a below par show. And I think a lot of that has to do with people like Stephanie Vacker not on the show. Kind of comes across as a Roman Reigns ain't showing up for this brother kind of situation, but Vacker had things to do, I suppose. In other matches, I think people should check out. I have a nice little listing here. Let me pull it up. Hold on, bear with me. I have the list. I had to keep it separate because it's in my match guide very, very low. I got Jaro Cheetah and Juvia against Isis and Tessa Blanchard. I thought that was pretty okay. That was from February 5th. February 16th, Vacker and Zeuxis against Lady Frost and Tessa Blanchard. This was also just okay. I thought Blanchard looked pretty terrible in this match, comparatively. And then I think the better match of the month was from February 20th. That's Vacker against Catalina. And this goes into more I was saying, where Catalina is improving with each and every time. And Vacker's got this weird thing going on in 2024. And it goes back to the Tessa Blanchard match where she beat her. And in the post, she kind of awkwardly hit her with the title. And things aren't clicking with Vacker right now. And it's very strange. Things are becoming a pattern. And we'll get to that Julia match in a sec. But a lot of things are overlapping with Stephanie Vacker. Makes you wonder. So with that, we'll move on to, I think, an indie roundup real quick. Since I haven't played this Risa Sarah drop in a while, I will do that, just because it's fun music. Okay, so I have a Seedling show with a couple matches to recommend here. Well, actually, it's just the one, because no way I'm recommending a Natsu Sumire match in 2023. And this La Padita thing I'm over it. These seedling shows, they just have one booking note. It is undercard singles match, some high-speed three-way gimmick, a trios match of some kind, which means ultimately nothing for people to get on the card, and then usually some sort of tag team title match in the main event, or quote-unquote big tag match. And in this case, seedling vacant tag titles, Makoto and Nagase Nozaki defeat Mayuki and Veni, 22 minutes, 18 seconds. Do I want to go full 3? I guess since I'm so undecided, I'm going 2 out of 3 rec. But I am in kind of that 3.5, 3 3/4 area, so maybe if I rewatch this and I'm in a better mood, I think this is the right team to win, is Nozaki and Makoto. I think the scene could do more with these two in the scene, and guys, just like I've kind of given up on Veni, I'm giving up on Mayuki at this point in time. Until either of these two sign with a company, I have no interest in indie scumming to this degree. This is as good as it gets with them. And speaking of Veni, and this goes into kind of Sendai, Mika Owada nominated Veni to be her first challenger. She won this title in dull fashion back in September against Millie McKenzie. She's done nothing but lose singles matches to Sari and Dash Sasako. And 7-8 months later, in April, she's having her first defense. Junk. It's junk bunking. I can't get into Sendai this way. And a lot of signs point to Veni winning this title back, or she gets this like wacky roll-up fashion. Because she isn't about doing these jobs generally pretty clean. And just another month that goes by where Mayuki in singles action is just a rare unicorn type event. So seedling unannounced attendance at Shinkimba. This company's on death's door, unfortunately. So that's where that stands. Head on over to, let's see, I did seedling, Sendai, Oz Academy. Mayumizaki and Mio Momono's title match in Oz Academy is now going to be a double title match for both the Oz title and the Marvelous title. A competent booker would say Mio Momono is going to finish this revenge story over Ozaki and win both these things. You can never be too sure with Oz Academy. It is in Oz Academy, so does this mean that Ozaki is becoming double champion, taking out Mio Momono again, and people will pretend that Mio Momono losing is actually good? I can't say I'm excited about this match. I am morbidly curious to see what the result's going to be. I lean towards Ozaki, generally, but as I said in the previous cast into that, I think Mio Momono is going to win this thing after a billion interference spots. Police hits Ozaki, and this leads into the Mio Momono awkward code red situation. Maybe we'll get an Ozaki beatdown on her in post-match, and I'm sure various baby faces will come out. We've seen this match structure play out before in Mayumi Ozaki matches over the past 30 years. Or 25 years? No, it is kind of 30 years at this point. So, I think regardless of the result, I don't think this match is going to be particularly good. I don't think it's going to really get anyone over to the extent of creating some buzz. Because if this match was happening in Marvelous, I think I might have a slightly more optimistic take because of how much Mio Momono has gotten her ass kicked in that company. And now she's coming over to Oz Academy, and the quote-unquote big match isn't in Marvelous. It's for this company. This produce promotion deal. TJPW, they're gearing up for Grand Princess, which, Mio Watanabe, she better win. She better win, and then we'll see what happens with the promotion. I'm less optimistic. I think this is Mizuki Run 2.0 type territory. I don't think TJPW knows how to build a card worth a shit. But as for the match, as I hit my mic, as for the match, I think it'll be good. It should be good. The rest of the card, I could really. I'm not personally into it. Maybe Makito, Minoru Suzuki will. I think I'll be entertained, but I can't say I'll be invested. That makes a whole lot of sense. So that's where I stand there. On the road to Grand Princess, yeah, they ran one prelude tag on I think yesterday, as I record this today. Yeah, it was at Yokohama Radiant Hall, very Ice Ribbon-esque venue that they used to run. Miyu Yamashita was on the winning side against Watanabe and the now retiring Now Calcutta. So the TJPW roster gets smaller yet again and filled with a lot more rookies. So let's get into some Stardom. Let's do it. Let's see here. What am I going to play? Well, I can't do any of that. Oh. Well. Yeah, why not? I'll do it. Whatever. Here we go. Okay, so Stardom Roundup as we go through the Cinderella tournament. I don't have a whole lot to recommend here, like from a high-end standpoint, other than the obvious things. I think the best things that have come out of this tournament has been the big trios and tag matches at the upper end of the card. Such as Sai Kamatani Azumi against Maika Mina against Mayu Tam. That was one of my favorite matches on this entire weekend deal. The Julia Shuri Konami match to prelude Vacker, which she teamed with Momo and Fukigen Death. I'm not sure why Fukigen Death was in that match, but I went 2 out of 3 on that one. 3 out of 3 on the main event. You notice I skipped one on purpose here for a second because it's going to garner more attention. And then I would say there's 2 recommended matches from the tournament up to this point. Haven't seen the matches that geared up for our semifinals, even though I have those results. Mirai Hanan, I gave 2 out of 3, and Suzuki Starlight Kid, I went 2 out of 3. And what's unfortunate about this tournament for me, I get it. I get why they just decided this year to go a route differently where they're keeping some of the over-the-top rope rules. I do like the fact that a lot of these wrestlers are structuring their matches to not just be all thrown over the top rope. So you're getting a lot of 6, 8, 10-minute match if you're on the generous side. Quick and to the point. I mean, it's definitely easy to watch. There's no slog going around. Hell, Yuzuki Starlight Kid, I think, was the better undercard type match of this tournament. My bigger issue is I personally wish for my particular taste in fandom that Stardom, with the new booker in Harada and clearly a newfound interest in having their wrestlers go to America, such as Mina Shirakawa on Ring of Honor all of a sudden, wrestling Anna Jay, no thank you to that. If we were going to book this in a particular manner, it's not the fact that we are seeing a lot of these young wrestlers get pushed in this tournament. I think it's a drawing interest to the tournament itself, or at least for me, to just have all of your best people and main eventers not in it, such as Mina, Sai Kamatani, Tam Nakano, Mayu. And I get that if you want to be a coward about everything and just avoid double countouts and double over the top rope eliminations. Okay, then be a coward, don't book it, and that's what they did. But then, much like my critique over the last couple of years, is okay, the big story going on in this is Ruaka throwing people over the top rope, and Hanan on the up and up to eliminate people and take the next step in her career. I get that. My larger issue is when we're booking matches for people like Hazuki, Starlight Kid, Suzu Suzuki to all kind of go out the way they did, nothing was convincing or interesting, and the brackets didn't line up to be interesting as I'm watching this 8-minute match just kind of end without fanfare or it doesn't feel like it's built to these people losing because we haven't built them up very well. There have been the prelude tags. I'm trying to keep up the best way I can with a lot of the house shows and how they're gearing up, but the way it's coming across to me is, again, the Cinderella tournament is secondary. And thank God they did better this year, but I'm leaning towards Stardom is kind of having this bounce back period right now because there's so much quote unquote controversy around and attention with the company and people potentially leaving. So people are now curious or the fact that they might never see like Utami in this promotion again after this. So they got 1,555 and then 1,300 people at Korakuen Hall. Very good weekend. Excellent, especially compared to, say, last year at the Yokohama Budokan. For day one, they got 1,200, and then the finals, they got 1,000. So I'm very curious to see what the finals are going to be able to do this year. And then if we go back to, let's see, Cinderella day one, 9/28 in 2022 during COVID. The Cinderella final got 2,000. So we're going to see what this final is able to do if it can get up to 2,000, just like it did a couple years ago. I'm still on the less optimistic side that we're completely back in this sense because I got this real nagging feeling in the back of my head that it's tough to truly get back invested for me into this company until after March goes, till we know what's going on in April, till that American show happens. I'm kind of keeping an arm's length, observed distance with the promotion. Now, the Hanan Mirai match I thought was the most effective match in the tournament. You have your two-time winner Mirai going in there. Hanan is the one that the story's about. And I thought it was easily, in a way, the best match of the tournament. And a part of me wishes that would have been the final, if that's the direction we were going. I think we could have done something there a little bit more, but I got no problem with Mirai losing in the way she did. I thought it was very effectively done, and I wish we could have got more matches like that throughout the tournament. I mean, is Mina Shirakawa or Momo losing in this fashion any different? I mean, they could have done that. I don't think Ami Sourei, I mean, she's done fine, but I guess she has a chance to win, but is that gonna knock people's socks off? I don't know. Julia Stephanie Vacker. So, I'm very generous with this match, with a 1 out of 3. Okay? Like, 2 3/4, 3 stars. There was some good hard-hitting and stiff moments. I thought the brawling structure of the match worked. What didn't work was how they approached the finish and the post-match, which ruined a lot of it. And whether it was the ref awkwardly counting the way he did, whether it was Julia's shoulder up on purpose, I don't know. But like I said at the top, Stephanie Vacker's developing some sort of pattern with shit like this, and this is Vacker's first match in Stardom in ages, okay? So Vacker hits her finisher, and Julia's shoulders up, still count 3, kind of no-sells it. It was something straight out of the Yumika Hotta playbook, right? get up, brawl, and Stephanie Vacker awkwardly hits her with the title in post, just like the Tessa Blanchard match. It's very weird. So whether this was miscommunication, language barrier errors, I don't know. But we're getting a pattern with Stephanie Vacker in matches like this and putting on something good. I think we need to calm down with the whole Hanan is the future ace of the company lines. I'd like to see her put in much better singles matches going forward. And hey, if the Cinderella is a proper start to all this, and she wins and goes on to face Saori Anou, and then somehow she wins the title, hey, good for her. She's not my favorite wrestler. There's still Azumi looming in the background. Maybe they're going to finally do something with her outside of the high-speed role. That has potential. I'm sure a lot of people would be into that. There's just a lot of question marks with sustainable booking to me. It's very simplistic and straightforward, and in this time frame, it's been very effective. I'm just dubious over what the long-term plays are going to be with this until after we get through this post-Ogawa period. Wow, okay. Saori Anou Natsupoi lose to Sari and Chihiro Hashimoto, and people are frothing at themselves over this match. Look, it was a very good tag. It was excellent. It's like every single major Sendai seed tag structure you can think of. It's a lot of vacuum-type wrestling, where it's a cool-ass match. It's going to get people off their seats. It's 4 stars flat, 4 1/4. I don't think it's a match of the year contender by any means, because it lacks that sense of long-term investment, fallout to this. Like, are Sari and Chihiro Hashimoto going to come back at the end of March and challenge for the tag titles? No, they're not going to do that. This will lead to Sari Mayu Iwatani, is what we're going towards. Then I would have switched Saori Anou and Mayu Iwatani in this match to really get you building up something. Then maybe I would have been further invested and we could see where this is going and everything. But really, this was about the two biggies bullying Natsupoi around and Saori Anou doing her, can't say her Oz Academy shtick, but she was the second player in the match. If you know what I mean. Natsupoi comes back from injury, gets her ass kicked as she does, and as is Japanese tradition, she's a little rusty between the ropes and got suplexed to death. So if you like seeing the poi get knocked around and pinned, hey, got a great match, and I do recommend it. It's one of the best Stardom matches this year. I would put it 2-3, right? Certainly up there as one of the best women's matches of the year. Hoping for more of things like that. Now, Chihiro, tag match wrestler, great. Chihiro, singles match wrestler, I'm passing on her these days. So we'll see where all these potential partnerships with AEW and CMLL, maybe, who knows, I don't know, Vacker's here. We're going to have to see a lot of things play out. And dubious judgment will be played. Okay. It is time to head on over to All Japan Women. Oh boy. Here we go. And it's time for that All Japan Women Destiny. We're here to go over 3 classic episodes. Classics 106, 107, 108. 106 took place on February 15th, 1995. Kind of your basic house show, gearing up for the one-night tag tournament for the vacant tag titles here in 1995, as Double Inouye vacated the tag titles at the beginning of the year because they wanted to be champions number 100 And that was the story, and they built up to the big March 21st show in Osaka at Osaka Castle Hall to try to drum up a lot of interest along and in this time period where Onita, Misawa and company, and a lot of Keiji Muto, a lot of these companies are coming together for a big Tokyo Dome show brought on by, I think it was Weekly Pro Wrestling, because there was also the Go Gundam magazine Tokyo Dome show, and basically we're just doing super shows where they're getting $5-6 million gates. Scalpers are selling at the time for over $1,000 to get into these dome shows. And it's essentially, as English writers, Meltzer and The Torch and whatnot, was basically calling it the WrestleMania for Japan. I'm not sure why they geared up that way, but WrestleMania was taking place during the same time during this in 95. That's where we were heading. And for All Japan Women to have dumped LLPW and FMW around this time makes it interesting for how they're going to follow up. And really, they're playing a little isolationist game temporarily here. So we go to the March 27th Observer, where FMW is doing 7,000 seat shows. The Tokyo Dome show on April 2nd is announced. UFC is now in full force. It's a huge cultural kind of shift in the pro wrestling world, and it's really reaching a bullet point here with things like Pancrase and IWA with deathmatch wrestling is also happening. So we got All Japan Women doing their thing on the show. We have a JWP Super Match 8-man tag, and then we have Shinobu Kandori from LLPW doing a goofy UFC fight. Which, if you listen to the LLPW reviews, you know what happens on that one. So I'm trying to pull up. Oh, here we go. Okay, so that's what the March 27th and a few other publications were doing at that time. And then we had, we're going to the April 10th Observer, where it covers what that Dome show meant. And what happened was the JWP match actually outshined everything, along with a realization of who was the most over in the country right now. Between Onita getting 65,000 people to his retirement show and DLR 50,000, whichever it was. The All Japan wrestlers, as in Misawa, Kobashi, and company, put on the best matches, but they're not the biggest drawing cards. They're kind of repeating themselves in matches over and over again, while New Japan continues to do better at the box office, despite having, we'll call it, lesser in-ring stars. They are selling more. And we kind of got the female version of that, where JWP, whom are lesser stars than the AJW wrestlers, they really showed out on the show. Especially, in my opinion, the Hikari Fukuoka and Devil Masami really showed out. And then you got your kind of powerhouse favorites, Dynamite Kansai, Cutie Suzuki and Candy Okatsu doing junior things together. You get the idea. So that was fun to see. So let's go on to this tag show. 1100 in Kagoshima, Japan, on February 15th. I can't say the show was like incredibly great, but we got some decent stuff here. Asari beat up rookie Yukashina. Yoshida and Rita Mata, I'm really liking this team. They defeated U-Tops, that's Tomoko Watanabe and Kumiko Meikawa. It's exactly what it is in your head. For once, Mariko Yoshida was not treated like a geek. She gets to come out on top. You had Toshio Yamada and Mima Shimoda having like a prelude tag against Kaori Ito and Suzuka Minami, as we're gearing up for Suzuka Minami's retirement. That's coming up in a like a month or so. And then Aja Kong and Etsuka Mita had what I thought a boring match. Aja Kong defeats her. There was really no tease of the DVD. Because Mita is definitely strong enough where she can lift Kong up, but they just didn't really go to a lot of those spots. Kong looked like she was conserving energy a lot of the time. This was not their best showing. And then the main event, we had Toyota and Hota teaming up against Double Inoue, 20-minute match. I thought this was excellent. This was your prelude tag again of Double Inoue and Toyota going against each other, and Double Inoue losing before the tournament, I thought was an interesting booking decision to really keep you guessing over can they go to distance kind of situation there. And Hota looked like she was at her best again. There was that couple month span there where wasn't feeling what she was doing. She's starting to work a lot more stiff consistently to really be reminiscent of that bloody hand match that happened at the beginning of '94, which really got me kind of thinking about Hota differently, but she's never really had that spark, that same motivational spark again. And Toyota is an absolute disaster around the ring right now. It's quite hilarious. She is jumping all over the place, missing half her shit. A lot of it looks cool when she does land it, but really it got to the point where she was botching so many stuff in this match that Takako and Kyoko were just trying to ground her. Maybe that was the strategy of the match, but whatever the sequence, once they started doing that, and it would build up to Toyota's bigger, springboard type moves, and the constant teasing of Hota's big heel kick situations into Toyota's JOC and suplexes and whatnot. That's when we finally got a match down. And the average age of wrestlers on this show, 24 years old. I thought that was a wild stat. So ultimately, that was Classics 106. I'm kind of glad didn't dedicate a full episode to that because we'd have been in and out in like 5 minutes. We move on to the bigger show, which covered 2 Classic spans, which is the one-night tag tournament. Okay? So if you like a bunch of 10-minute undercard matches, really getting people over in the same way and the same structure, then the beginning will be just fine for you. Okay? So I'll go through, let's see. We had an opener, Tamada Asari, Yoko Takahashi, and Misai Watanabe Genki. Defeat Tomoko, Yukishina, Yoshiko Tamura, and Nobuo Endo, 7 minutes. It's a rookie match. And Chapiro Asari is unfortunately relegated to this because of her size. Kind of sucks, because I would have liked to see her in this tournament instead of Kara Ito. Or anyone else for that matter. Well, no, not anyone else, but I could have done with Asari in this tournament. Well, we got a quick dose of Double Inoue, Kyoko and Takako, defeating Suzuki Hanami and Reggie Bennett in 12 minutes. Bennett has actual gear now. Now she looks like someone out of American Gladiators that isn't on steroids. So it's quite funny to watch her thwomp around the ring. And this was to immediately establish Double Inoue as the force in the mat, in the tournament. We should have a situation where they reach the finals or get upset in the semis. That's what they're teasing. But as soon as you see what matches are ahead, you can immediately tell kind of what was going to happen throughout the tournament, with the exception of one team, and they're up next. It was Aja Kong and Mariko Yoshida. Yes, that Yoshida has been kind of treated like a geek jobber since coming back from injury after all that time. Well, they defeated Toshio Yamada and Yumika Hota 18 minutes, and this is really what I was talking about with Yamada. Because on paper, I would have thought Hota and Yamada were just going to destroy Yoshida and come away with this with the win, as you have Aja Kong have an out. She doesn't have to pull double duty, because within the week, it's going to be her and Manami Toyota gunning for that red belt title. Are they going to do something more with Manami Toyota and Aja Kong on this show? Maybe. Or was it a missed opportunity? So yeah, 18 minutes. I thought Kong was phenomenal against both Hota and Yamada. Kong and Hota have excellent chemistry with each other. They really know how to run and gun. Yamada, this goes into my theory that they're kind of done with her. As soon as she got kind of passed up by he's definitely Manami Toyota, her tag partner, but Aja Kong's been put over as something at the top. You have Mita and Shimoda as a strong tag team, so that kind of puts her out there. You have the rising Saki Asagawa that they're willing to do a lot of different things with. And then Hota's really coming to her own, and she's doing better than Yamada is right now. So Yamada she's on the way. She's on out. She's on the outside looking in because everybody's passing her by, and she's not really stepping up her game to the next level. That's what I'm seeing. Even though she's still really good, she's giving me a lot of Momo Watanabe type vibes right now in placement on the card. LCO, Mita and Shimoda defeat the visiting Lady Apache and La Felina, whom I believe is Diabolica in CMLL around this time. I believe that's the same person. We're going to go with yes. We're going to do that. That's what I'm saying. And Lady Apache and especially looks excellent. Felina looked great. I thought this was one of the better matches, but it was only 10 minutes, so, a 1 out of 3, 2 out of 3 situation. Mita and Shimoda, at this point in time, we've seen so many of their LCO tag matches that are between 8 and 12 minutes, and we know what they're going to do in this match. They're going to have a beginning period of heat. They're going to set up their key tag moves, and then they'll go home. Manami Toyota and Blizzard Yuki. Yes, Saki Asagawa is back in a mask. So I looked this up. So initially, about a month after the Tokyo Dome, where they gave her this character, and then the manga and everything wasn't selling so well, apparently they had like a re-release of like the cartoon and the manga, and so they put the Blizzard Yuki gimmick back on her, even though they hadn't done it in about a month and a half, because they wanted to match up with advertising. So there was a second release of it, and that explains why they kind of put the mask on her for this tournament that drew 8,500 people to Castle Hall here in Osaka, which, but at this point in time, it's well known that the Matsunagas are not happy with the attendances in 1995 with All Japan Women, especially coming off the last number of years where it was Bull Nakano and company getting 16,000 people into Yokohama Arena, and the beginning of the interpromotional warfare matches. Great angles produce great results, and what All Japan Women's lacking right now are those angles to produce any results. Currently, their ideas, if it doesn't involve international or interpromotional stuff, is very bland of great women's wrestling, but without the background substance. They're still getting 5,000 plus people to these shows, but in the Matsunaga's minds, that's a failure, right? And All Japan Pro Wrestling isn't doing that much better at this point in time. They can still sell out the Budokan when they go there for things like Tag League and whatnot, and I'd have to do a deeper dive, but it's very comparable. And it's being commonly said that All Japan Pro Wrestling is struggling with tickets, while places like FMW on the back of Onita's retirement and New Japan are doing quite well during this point in time. That said, the Toyota Blizzard Yuki combo were fantastic. What doesn't do it for me in this match in the 13 minutes is Jaguar Yokota and Asuka are too grounded. And it comes across as a relic of the past of this kind of match where they're not adjusting to a new style. Jaguar Yokota is doing better than Lioness Asuka right now because she can do a lot of Lucha Libre-esque moves and still keep up, but she hasn't changed her gear. She's really coming across as 10 years behind the times, and Asuka is too grounded and kind of boring. She has her big swing still. Doesn't look as good as Kyoko Inoue's right now. Not really. Not up to that standard. But you get the idea. And the quote-unquote veteran team loses. Not something you get today, and they're calling them Raijin Corps. Bison Kimura defeats Kaori Ito in a very boring 14-minute match. I cannot stand Kaori Ito in any sort of iteration, from her Peter Pan days in that gear to singles matches like this. Bison Kimura still has quite a bit of rust, seemingly, to get off here. She needs weaponry to make these matches interesting. And what was an absolute disaster was this martial arts shoot match. Fumiko Ishimoto defeats Kumiko Meikawa. It's fucking back. And I hate it. I hate these things. They're so boring. They're terrible. People getting shoot punched. And then they try to make a farce of it with like draws and downs and whatever. And from here to the end of the show, this rocked. Double Inoue defeats Yoshida and Aja Kong, 16 minutes. I really think there was a missed opportunity here with booking Manami Toyota and Blizzard Yuki to beat this team. And a week later, you're doing Kong Toyota. Manami Toyota can get the pin over Mayuki Yoshida and talk shit to Aja Kong. Or hell, pin Aja Kong. Regardless of the booking thoughts and the format, the match rocked. And this is how I thought the other match was going to go, where Yoshida gets the shit kicked out of her from the bigger duo. And they did that in this match. And Kong really held her own. It was a lot of Mayuki Yoshida jumping around the ring, while Kyoko and Takako just slapped the shit out of her. Good match, 2 out of 3 rec. And another 2 out of 3 rec is the 20 minutes LCO against Blizzard Yuki Manami Toyota match. Saki Asagawa and Manami Toyota is crack to me. They are so good. Blizzard Yuki doing all her like T-bone and Uranagi suplexes, setting up into Manami Toyota's crazy drop kicks and moonsaults and the like. Excellent match, very high energy. 2 out of 3, little better than the match prior. And the main event, so Manami Toyota and Blizzard Yuki go back-to-back in matches. So they see what happened the couple years ago with the Hokuto and Toyota and the tag league and the double match showdown. They saw how successful and buzzworthy that got and became a cult classic type of show with the matches. They've now gone to this well twice since then, in same tag tournament style, where a team will go in back-to-back matches to create more drama. And now I think we've definitely seen them go to the well too many times. This is why I think they could have done... Well, I guess that would have set up Double Inoue going back-to-back in matches here. No, that would have created the same level of drama and built up. So I think they were kind of up shit's creek without a paddle here, where no matter what, a semifinal team was going to end up in the finals. But I guess it also gives Manami Toyota and Yuki an out, since they lost, that they had to face. They had to do 2 matches in a row like this in short fashion. So Blizzard Yuki, Hasegawa, and Toyota were in there for a good 36, 37 minutes straight with very little rest, just for Double Inoue to come out again. This match rocked. Full 3, 4.25, 4.5 star type match. Over on the old Observer, I think he went, Mr. Dave. I don't think he actually watched this show, did he? Let's see here. No, he watched the Weekly Pro Tokyo Dome show and went 4 3/4 on the JWP match and 4.5 on the All Japan match. Oh yeah, 2 terrible All Japan women just doing terrible to follow JWP in that sense. Crazy. So Double Inoue, and this was straight up one fall, which I really appreciate. It made it even more dramatic. Blizzard Yuki looked absolutely outstanding in here, hanging in there, and Kyoko and Takako make such an amazing duo at this point in time. They become one of my favorite tag teams to watch. Everything they do seem to hit, at least in this point in time, in this era, and I want to see more. And I'm glad they won the tag titles back. It had them finish the story of them wanting to be champions 100. Simple enough. It got them over. They got almost 10,000 people to this tag show. And now we're gearing up for the big singles match show with Toyota and Kong. But the turnaround's so fast. Scheduling seems to follow upper management scheduling Rossy Ogawa's booking or whomever at the time, or people doing a committee of some whatever source you want to use or whatever you want to believe. Regardless, when it comes to a lot of these companies that Ogawa's in, it seems like the schedule is always against him. Okay? And against the wrestlers. Luckily, we have some younger talent showing up on these cards now, but we're going to be gearing up for, I believe, 2 retirements. I believe Yamada's retirement isn't too far. I know Suzuki Minami's is right around the corner, and I don't think Saki Asagawa lasts much longer. And then we're going to really see how filling out these pieces of what All Japan can do in this post-Big Egg world. But ultimately, I think it's dumb booking decision to vacate the titles the way that Double Inoue did, but for them to come away back as champions and going through this tournament, it at least doesn't make them look stupid. It brought some drama to it. I think this is less vacuum booking than I initially thought. Now that I have full context, I think it was more successful than I thought how it was going to turn out. And there we have it. Our next show is going to be Manami Toyota Aja Kong for the title. Queendom victory. So I will title this Queendom Success with all 3 classic episodes combined. This was fun. This was good. Hope you enjoyed All Japan Women Destiny. Consider subscribing over on All Japan Women Destiny. You get those Joshi 2010's Journey episodes for free on delay. And if you want to support more of the Joshi 2010's Journey, head on over to the Patreon and join the very low tier to at least support the Google Drive access and everything. Just came out with the 2012 in Joshi review. Includes matches of the year, wrestlers of the year, review over Ribbon Mania from 2012. Very interesting year for 2012. Head on over there, check it out. And we move on throughout All Japan in 1995. Okay, so Pack is back. That's one thing I had to play. Rickee, you also wanted Osprey, so I have to do it. Here it goes. And the Rainmaker! The coin drop! AEW is so good right now. It's so good.
Katie, you're so elevated. You are so elevated.
All right. Now elevated I am right now, besides my dorkiness of making from scratch a cocktail from Final Fantasy.
Yeah, the geek level's at maximum for this one.
So there I am. There I am, playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Many people are playing that game right now. And there's a side mission. People did this during the first one as well with the whole Tifa making Cloud a drink thing, but it all came back to me. And this guy in a bar, he's like, I don't know how to make the cocktail. It's missing something, blah, blah, blah. You do the whole mission, and Tifa goes, you need a little bit of salt and more sweetness. And I went, I'm going to make this fucking thing. Put the game down, made it from scratch, put it all on Twitter of the thing I came up with, and God damn it, it looks exactly like it.
I love it.
It is,
clever.
I can describe it as like a spin on a Negroni closer to a Cosmopolitan.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the thinking that I had on it, and it's really good.
I'm glad. I'm very happy for you.
Hard and bitter. Just like my wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Indeed.
Yes, of course. So AEW is really good. New Japan is not.
Holy shit. Yeah.
New Japan's so bad.
That just
Holy
about sums
shit.
it up. That just about sums it up.
How much of the New Japan Cup have you watched?
None. Just the clips of Jack Perry being Jack Perry.
Okay. I can assure you, you've missed nothing.
Yeah, that's why I haven't bothered.
Unless you really want to watch some horrid and boring wrestling. Then New Japan right now is right up your
Not
alley.
really. I get enough of that with WCW.
Oh, well. WCW we can at least joke about. In New Japan's sense, it's more sad.
Right.
Because we know how far they've fallen and all this. I mean, there's a particular clip that's made its way from a Tongaloa Ghetto interaction and just some tag. And it's Tongaloa doing essentially a Kamigoye that Ibushi does. And the knee is supposed to go to the face. Well, in Tongaloa's case, the knee goes to the groin because he's so bad that he can't even get it up there. Anyways, that sums up the New Japan Cup in the interest. The best match is Tsuji against Jeff Cobb. It's like 3.5 stars, 2 out of 3 rec. Nothing else is even like in the ballpark of that. Everything else is 2 stars or less. It's a horrible tournament. Absolutely hate it. And it's so much, in fact, I'm skipping now into the final. Forget it. Hand is waved.
Well, yeah. I mean, I decided to skip just out of sheer disinterest. So.
Well, you suffered less than I. But not suffering is AEW, because holy shit, the wrestling's been good.
Holy moly. Yes, it has.
So we had Revolution, Greensboro Coliseum, Sting's retirement, just under 17,000 in attendance. Hell of a show. What if I were to ask you where this AEW pay-per-view ranked in the slew of pay-per-views AEW has put on, where would you put it?
I think All Out 2021 is still number 1.
Okay.
This might be number 2. Revolution 2020 is right up there. Yeah, I think you can switch those 3 around. I think those are the top 3.
It's very few. Yeah. Because I like by default, I'm thinking top 5 and then figure it out from there. You almost want to watch them all over again to experience what made them each very special and unique. Mm-hmm. There's a common occurrence when these AEW pay-per-views hit, and that is a mixture of a lot of various storylines coming together and the wrestling being top-notch on top of it. I mean, I came out of Revolution because I've been pretty down on AEW, especially in 2023. Whether it was some of those we'll call it B-level pay-per-views leading into World's End, had more positivity than, say, how I felt coming out of All Out. And then when Revolution happened, it's like a culmination of finally we're back. All this WWE-isms are gone, more or less. Yep. It was about Sting, a guy who's really not affiliated with a success in any sort of WWE manner. He is, in fact, I'll put it this way. Sting, at least for me, was always kind of the not WWE guy, right? Not WWF. Right. And I've seen a lot of, not discourse, maybe that's not the right word, but definitely discussion and a sense of defending your team. People call it tribalism. I don't think it's that. I think it's more of a defense of the team that you want to root for. Mm-hmm. Maybe that's tribalism in a sense, but it's been a fascinating last couple weeks since the Revolution pay-per-view and the fallout. And as the drops all played off, We have AEW signing Ospreay. Pac is back. Okada's in the building. They're teasing Kenny Omega coming back, whenever that may be. They got MJF in the works, coming back from however long he's going to be out. So there's still players on the bench. Plus, you were going to say?
And Mercedes is coming this week.
And it's boss time. Right. It's Boston. It's big business.
No, we're done with boss time. No, Michael Cole. No.
No, it's got to be boss time. Here, hold on. I got a. Where's my where's my Mercedes? Where's my Sasha Banks drops? I got her because I'm a huge fan. Here we go. Go play a bunch of them.
Shut up!
Whoa!
Can you say that on TV? Nobody cares about where you're going to end up.
Wow.
But it seems to me that people are forgetting who the boss is of this women's division.
That's right. Mercedes is coming. I'm super excited. It's the biggest women's free agent in, I don't know, ever.
Ever. I think ever.
Like ever.
Yes.
If you want to get into the crux of Joshi and like when contracts come up and what's happening, I mean, you could do that. You can say Io Shirai signing with WWE was the biggest at the time, but nothing, like everything pales in comparison to what the free agency of Mercedes Moné means to women's wrestling. And I personally am excited for what she does. I've vastly anticipated everything she's done post WWE. It's unfortunate she got injured. And the fact she's coming into AEW at this point in time, I think is a godsend. I think the division is built for someone like her at this point. We've spoken about a lot of the signings. There's clear movements on the shows that are gearing towards her. I have my opinions on Timeless Toni Storm because, oh my God, she needs to go. She does not fit.
Well, I understand that the character is still popular and that's fine with me. The problem is the character does not call for good wrestling or great wrestling, which is what she's capable of. And I would rather have great wrestling than great character work.
Well, that's the thing. So we're, and this is good transitions into Revolution, what it means, because really the only match that had no reaction, plenty of build, crowd didn't care, and pick a show that Timeless Toni is on, her matches and her segments do not do well. They just don't. And I put it out there that even if you want to break it down from just a wrestling in-ring perspective, this woman hasn't had a good match in well over a year. Like, I'm talking a good to great match. Every match under-delivers. It's the weakest match on the show. It gets, and I've been in a building where she comes out. It's no reaction. It is an albatross on the division, and I think it's going to hold this women's world title back. And hopefully Mercedes can come in and squash this woman, and then we get the real business, get some big women's business.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, when this character first came around, we were predicting them. I don't even remember what show it was where she won the belt. We were saying she doesn't need the belt. This character doesn't need the belt. This division doesn't need her with the belt. And yet they went that way anyway. And now we're dealing with it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. So the way I like to cover women's wrestling, it's very critical. But I'm a huge fan.
Yep.
And I like
yes.
I like to see women's just athletes really perform well. And I mean, shit. Pick a sport right now where women's athletics isn't on the up and up. You got Caitlin Clark and
oh my gosh,
you got Caitlin Clark in the NCAA. You got the countless LPGA.
PWHL.
There's a women's hockey league that just started up that's super interesting. I've already been to one of those games. It's so fun to watch.
So fun. So fun. Yeah.
The Women's World Cup is up every single year. It's getting extremely more popular. So when it comes to wrestling, I wanted to meet what the men are doing, and I know we've seen that it's capable of doing that. But when you put out a gimmick that inherently is an albatross on the division to decrease the quality, to not meet even the men's standards that you see throughout the show, because they only get one chance. Generally, they only get one chance to show it. And if that one chance is below par, it gets torched. And putting something out like Tony Storm out there right now, and this sucks because I'm a huge Tony Storm fan. I have been for many years.
Right.
And this gimmick is not why I really fell in love with her as a wrestler. And it really sucks to see.
Yeah. Yeah, you and Deanna both. You both have an argument to make. Oh. This is not the Tony I knew.
This is not the game I was familiar with.
Right.
Okay. So let's get into the positives. The rest of the show. Sting's retirement. We got Darby Allin going through Sugar Glass that has caused a brouhaha just from the worst people.
Oh boy.
But for the people that care and the majority of the people out there, we all thought it was fucking awesome and incredible. And I'm going to remember this spot for a long time. I remember the Mankind spot off the cell with The Undertaker. A lot of us do. From back then, they show it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again to how iconic it was. And for Darby Allin to go through the pane of glass, jumping off the ladder, and the Young Bucks taking him away, and him out for a good chunk of the bout, to come back, fire up, and help attribute to the win. That really is what I'm saying as a modern day type controversial hardcore spot, very much a la Mick Foley threw the table off the cell. Of course, he did it again later with the whole Triple H through the cell accidentally, and people thought he died. But in terms of an iconic AEW moment, because they're not showing the Cody moonsault off the cell very much anymore. This is their Mick Foley attribution that they can point to. And Darby Allin's going to go climb Mount Everest. He's with and to do it in a match of Sting's retirement, a guy that I mentioned at the top of the podcast here that hasn't really been affiliated with WWF his entire career. It's always been the anti-establishment guy. That's how many have seen him as, at least in that sense. They can use this for forever. Same thing with the Young Bucks, with putting Sting over when it was all said and done. A match that I love, the politicking. It's like the complete opposite of what they're used to. Who wants to lose the match because nobody wanted to win it. Everyone was very selfless. That's what made it even more intriguing. Everything about this match made the retirement perfect, better for it. Nobody loses anything out of it. Everyone gains. It was finally an icon going into the sunset with his head held high. And that really makes me happy as a wrestling fan.
Yep. Absolutely. On his own terms. His kids got involved. How great were they? They looked like, $1,000,000. Somebody said that they looked like video game renderings of Sting. Where it looks so much like him, but it's just a little off, But they both nailed their stinger splash and were there to celebrate with their dad. What a cool moment. Great thing about it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. No one has a bad word to say about Sting. this man has been in the business for ages, and what a way to go out. Just absolutely perfect. Nailed it. I don't know what they could have done better.
Yeah, I mean, I came on here a couple weeks ago and thought the Jacksons were going to win, the Bucks. And
we both
they were going to
did.
put him down, classic wrestling where the guy going out puts his back on the mat, and that's just how it's done. And I have no issue with them going away from this because, look, Sting's had like a 40-year career. He's put over countless people at this point in time. And I have said this in the past with similar things. If a person has gone a good chunk of their career, especially near the last 5-10 years, and have actively put over people, then their last match, people just want to see you go out with your head held high. And that's what we got here. And for me to see online and read some of the worst people out there, whether it's Al Snow saying that someone's going to die in AEW ring because of this, Vince Russo saying, well, Sting never really liked wrestling to begin with. The list goes on. And then to also read where these same grifters are denying that they don't have any influence over something like the AEW fan base from really clicking with the promotion and saying they don't affect how people look at it is hogwash and bullshit. And it does upset me. And it's very sad because they're not coming from a place of fandom. They're not coming from a place of actual criticism, even though they feign that they do. It's all from, I don't know, is it from jealousy because they aren't in it anymore? Is it from them trying to grift their way into clicks online? Much like a lot of the...
It's just...
Go on.
It's just to stir the pot and to so reap and sow engagement. That's it. It's just for the clicks. It's just for the...
It's low. It's very low. It's beneath. It would be beneath me, and I'm not someone who's feigned away from saying I would sell out. But to do something like that, in these instances, that's where it finally like crosses a line with me. So the rest of the show, I thought was phenomenal. Well, the scramble match I thought was something straight out of GCW. Didn't really need that, but
and honestly, not as good as GCW Scramble.
Yeah, this one was a mess.
GCW has perfected the scramble. I think 6 is the right number. I don't know why GCW has like figured this out, and it's okay. One of the things that I usually really enjoy about a multi-man match in AEW. Oh my gosh, Sid, dear Lord!
You see him just pop up like that?
80s cat just pulled a Darby Allin.
Hi, Kitty. I heard him running around upstairs, and then he tears down into the basement here onto the pole to jump up on the back of the couch. And now he's just chilling next to me. Okay.
I forget what I was saying. Oh, multi-man matches. Okay.
Right.
Normally, the thing that I like about an AEW multi-man match is it isn't a whole lot of 2 guys, let me do my spot. Now let me roll out of my ring. Now 2 more guys, do a spot. Now 2 more guys. And that's exactly what this match was. It was the most spot planned, everybody roll out. It wasn't everybody at once. Like, I enjoyed that they still did their meat spot. But aside from that, it just wasn't, it was fine. It was fine.
Yeah, and I thought Dante Martin was an absolute mess in the match. Didn't really enjoy Brian Cage in it. It had... Look, it was there for Wardlow to get a number 1 contender match at Big Business against Mojo. So at least the booking for the bookend of the deal was solid, but the match itself was not needed. But after that...
Should we speculate now how they... I mean, Wardlow is not winning the title from Joe.
No.
If he does, if he did, he would only have it for a couple months before giving it to Swerve, and I don't think that's fair to Wardlow. So, what is going to happen on Wednesday?
Well, I think
Where does
Smojo
Wardlow
is
go after losing?
Well, obviously this
That's my question.
this podcast episode is going to come out after Big Business, which makes it more fun. I like when we're kind of recording a little bit ahead, because then we get to speculate, and then it comes out and see. Anyways,
See how wrong we are, because we're really bad at this.
no, we're kind of fun.
We're pretty bad.
No, the Smojo's going to win. They're clearly setting up Swerve for a singles match. I think that's going to be the Dynasty match. I mean, personally, I'd put the title on Swerve, but the path for him to, like, he's a babyface now. He's very much a good guy. He's gone into that role. Would it be the worst idea for him to lose it to Hangman Page in a singles before something like Wembley, and then for Ospreay to beat Page at Wembley? Is that too many title changes in between now and August?
It's too many. Also, I want Ospreay versus Swerve. But my question is, what happens to Wardlow after he loses?
Who cares? It's Wardlow. I'm out on Wardlow. I'm done with this guy. I don't think he's as big as people think he's meant to be. I don't think he's got it. I think this is his peak. This is what he's showing. This is what he's capable of. Like, all you have to do is stack him against guys like Swerve and Will Ospreay, and you go, oh, well, that's what he's missing. XYZ. He doesn't have that.
Yeah.
So what is he? Is Wardlow like a TNT type champion to go against Christian Cage? Maybe. I think that's closer to him than world title.
Yeah.
Until he figures something out.
Yeah.
Is he a nice little TV challenger for Samoa Joe? Sure. Yeah. I got no issue with matches like that. But if people are worried about him losing and not being some main eventer that I don't think he's currently capable of, then I think we're talking different languages here.
I don't care that he leaves the main event scene. I'm not invested in Wardlow. But it felt like AEW was, so that's why I asked the question.
Oh, sure. I mean, they were pushing him like there's potential there, and I get that. Absolutely. You got to try. But I think we're certainly at...
He's going to try. He's going to try.
I think we're certainly at the point where we kind of see what this guy is. Because he's always in the same roles, and they just... Whether it's AEW or, let's say hypothetically he goes to WWE, what are they going to do? They're going to kind of book him the same way.
Sure.
That's what I see.
That's the right place for him, probably.
Probably. Now, what's the jury on someone like Powerhouse Hobbs that many have something as a comparable to Wardlow? I think there's more potential in Hobbs, personally. I think he's got more personality. I think he's got more upside. I think he has yet to show us what he's clearly capable of. That's a difference. I think we've kind of seen the threshold what Wardlow has to offer, at least in this company. Could he break through somewhere else, like a Jack Perry in New Japan, trying to figure something out? Sure, that's always a possibility. But in terms of AEW, I think his time has come. We've seen the peak.
Fair enough.
Okay, so let's run through this. Christian Cage, Daniel Garcia, 17 minutes, TNT title. What'd you think?
Garcia had an awesome Scorpion jacket to come out to pay tribute to Sting. And I thought the match was very good. I think the story of this match is that Christian isn't as good a dad as Daddy Magic Matt Menard.
Oh, them's fighting words.
There was a a distraction finish, though, right? Like Nick Wayne attacks from the outside and Christian won. Great opening match, though. Hot starts hot. Good stuff.
Sure. Yeah, and as we saw on television, Edge came back, Copeland. So they're gonna do that in Canada. That's a good spot. Good spot. And I think Copeland should win, and dare I say, Cage should lose up. I think he's one of the best heels in the company.
Cage should lose up.
Yeah, I think he's one of the best heels in the company, and he's been doing good work. And I'm more confident in him kind of reaching that role while the fruit is ripe. Put it that way. It's kind of like capitalizing on Jericho before people are sick of him.
Mm.
I'm personally not sick of Jericho, but many are. I think it's pretty clear by the cage match ratings and the like.
Listeners, I just made a face at JD. I think everybody knows how I feel about Jericho.
Yeah. Well, we're on that subject since we already talked to Scramble. What do you think of the Jericho Hook relationship?
It's just more of Jericho hitching himself to whatever's hot, right?
But Hook isn't that hot right now. He's, if anything, cooled off completely.
Not hot.
Well,
he's cooled off, but
yes, I know he's an attractive male. I understand.
I can't. I could be his mom. I can't. I can't with the young kids. I can't objectify them. I feel it's like from Garcia and down. I cannot objectify them. It's just wrong. But no, Hook will never not be over with the AEW crowd. His momentum has cooled for sure, but he's never not over. And I want it to lead to Taz coming back for one more match, tagging with his son. If he's cleared, if he could get cleared.
I mean, we could do a tag match at some point, sure.
That's what I want.
Okay, I'm busting out the good rum, because we're getting some good matches.
Great.
Some Ron Vijos, Caldeas 8-year.
Okay.
Wonderful.
I'm not drinking today.
Yeah, you're really tired. I understand.
I'm very tired. Yeah, that's the gist. I'm very tired. I haven't eaten yet. We're recording at we started around 4:30 my time, so just too soon for me. I might have a glass of wine before bed to, zonk me out, but maybe not. How's the rum?
How's the rum, you ask? All right, here we go. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's good stuff.
Excellent.
Nice, smooth hint of smoky. Not spiced, by the way.
Great.
Not spiced rum.
Okay.
Okay.
What do you think about Hook and Jericho?
I like it. I like the move. So, I was into the Golden Jets idea with Omega and Jericho, Team Winnipeg Jets, even though they're fraud of an NHL team, let me tell you.
Fine.
Look, they're a team built off the back of Hellebuck and his great goaltending, and that's it. Okay. He caves, the whole team falls apart. Much like Kenny Omega on the bench right now for Team Golden Jets. So, Jericho goes to Guevara again to try to rekindle Le Sex Gods, which was a great name and good kindling at first, but the fire went out fast. And now Guevara's all suspended and doing the thing with Jeff Hardy, and I don't know. Whole lot of speculation on the suspension there with Guevara, but Guevara, I'm done with him. Look, it's bad enough I grew up in the same city as him, all right? And he went to a rival high school as well. I don't need that.
Okay, that's fair.
You know, I am free reign to hate that guy.
You are like 10 years older than him. Oh.
Same town, same area. I believe he grew up like 4 blocks away from me, if I'm being technical.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Let's see. We could make that 4 blocks. We absolutely could. One's really long, but you may have to cross I-10, but don't worry about that part. So Guevara's out, and look, Hook needed a spark. He needed a veteran presence around him because that's where he was great to start with when he first debuted with the combination of Taz and among others. I know Taz is his dad, but...
Oh.
And Jericho needs a fresh partner as well because we're getting him in singles matches, which I'm really enjoying him against the CMLL guys. I do like that. Teton, Atlantis. I like that dynamic.
Yeah. I do too, and I like that he is a Lionheart Chris Jericho when he wrestles them. I think that's a nice touch.
Yeah, it's a good homage to the past.
Presentation.
Yeah, I like that. And then, so Hook has someone that's extremely experienced, still knows how to get over. I know there's an X amount of community, and you yourself included aren't, huge into Jericho right now. But in terms of like how it can benefit Hook, I think this is good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're probably right. I'm probably wrong. Story of our lives.
And look, it'll keep Hook on TV in relevant roles. That's the thing. That's why I always disagree about this like Jericho vortex of despair, right? Because if you're with Jericho, you'll get on TV, right? And
I agree with that, yes.
Yeah, and that way you're exposed, the crowd will get to know you, and guess what? People end up hating Chris Jericho and rooting for you. Look what happened to Daniel Garcia.
Oh, that's a good point. Yep. Nailed it.
Yeah, one example. So I think this benefits Hook greatly. So where were we? Eddie Kingston, Bryan Danielson. Okay, I'm actually the low guy on this match.
Holy. Okay.
I still thought it was really good, but I'm not at like a 5-star, 4.5 plus range. I'm like 3 3/4 on this. I'll tell you why. You curious?
That's kind of I was like a strong 4 on it.
Oh,
but yeah, let's go.
We're on the same page then. So you and I are both because I'm seeing a lot of feedback on this match as like match of the year contender type stuff.
They both have better matches. I think the stakes of this match were important, right? Like it wasn't really about the belts. It was about respect. I think Eddie could have handled losing the belts. He would have lost graciously. But it was about the respect. So that's what I wanted to see, and that's what we got.
I think I would have liked to see Eddie Kingston lose. I want to see Danielson fucking win something. He loses a lot.
Well, Eddie's gonna lose. Eddie's gonna lose at Dynasty to Okada.
I'm all very okay with that. I'm so okay with that. In terms of Danielson in the match, with working the hand and whatnot, and then Danielson going down. Look, I thought the match was really good. I went just under full 3. I was at 2 out of 3, 3 3/4. There was something missing from there, and I think I'm of the agreement with you that they've had a better match, and I was there live for it in Boston. Mm-hmm. Kingston Danielson, I believe it was one of the first matches Danielson had in the company, and I adored that match because it was a lot more chopping, a lot more meat getting beated.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not that they're not good to great matches. Like I say matches because in my head I'm also thinking about how we both preferred the Goku Ospreay 2 over the most recent one that people were saying,
That's right.
match of the year. But yeah, it was better before.
You know, it's funny how when people have multiple matches against each other, you can't help but just directly compare their previous bouts, and then you end up ranking them or rating them by those other matches rather than...
That's the point. Isn't that the point of doing a trilogy of matches? Isn't that why, same with movies, right? Like, which Indiana Jones movie is your favorite?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I'm more
Like, you have to compare them. Like, they're all good. Well, not all of them. First three are all good.
It's like all the Rockies are good except that one. Yeah.
No, the Rockies suck. But Rocky
no,
movies.
the baseball team
movies.
sucks. Yes, I agree. By the way, Rickee, I'm putting you on the spot.
Great.
If Utah gets a MLB expansion franchise, will you drop the Rockies with me and root for the Utah team?
I mean, I've dropped the Rockies already, so.
Yes! Utah baseball team unite!
I'm actually a Yankee fan, right? They are my first team.
All right, you got to root for an NL team, so that works.
But I do really enjoy National League Baseball. So, or did before all the latest rule changes. But
okay.
Anyway,
let's see. Roderick Strong, Orange Cassidy, 12 minutes 43 seconds. Roddy wins. Good stuff.
Very good.
Solid. I got really no thoughts on it other than it was a solid match.
It was very good.
BCC Moxley Claudio defeat FTR 22 minutes. What'd you think?
It was too long.
Oh.
It's very good.
Oh?
Too long.
Give me a rating.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't think I paid that much attention to that match. I don't know why. I don't know if I just wasn't invested. I don't know. Didn't do it for me.
So I heard a lot of people say it started too slow, and it was too slow for the majority of the time, but the finish was hot. I don't disagree with that.
How did it finish? I don't remember.
So they did a bunch of like Legion of Doom, Road Warrior type spots. FTR was very much in the role of like the Fantastics and whatnot. You know, it was a good homage to 1980s wrestling with a modern touch, as is FTR's style. I mean, hell, we had Moxley and Claudio coming out with the goofy knockoff Road Warriors spike pads, right?
Yes.
But what I like, there's something about these four guys that when they get in the ring, their dynamic with each other really works for me. Where it's heavy, hard-hitting one-on-ones for the first half. And then it builds up to a few tandem tag team maneuvers. And from there, it's very AJW early 90s, mid-90s-esque for me. Where then by the time we get to the finish, we've seen a lot of the sequences and moves that sets up finishers. So then when we finally get to the final sequence, you're buying everything. And they showed glimpses of that in that draw that they had on television that I really enjoyed. It's one of my favorite tags of the year. And they did it again here without saving something in the tank. They really brought it. And there's still a hint of me where I think these guys are going to meet in this fabled March Madness tag title tournament that they're going to do. I think these guys are going to meet at some point in this tournament, and they're going to call back to their previous two matches and really make it a match of the tournament contender.
That would be a fantastic build.
Yeah.
That's something that I would hope would be very good.
I'm super into these four guys against each other, so BCC takes the win here in the special tag match. I didn't think 22 minutes was too long at all. I thought it really worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I meant to rewatch the pay-per-view beginning to end because I really did like the show from top to bottom, and I didn't get a chance to. So I will pay better attention to that match on my rewatch and reassess.
Will Ospreay defeats Konosuke Takeshita 22 minutes.
Okay. Before we dive into the match, can we talk about the entrance? He brought Elevated with him, and the crowd nailed it with the Osprey. I mean, what? He is just a fucking mega star. Holy shit.
I'm firmly of the belief the faster you can get the title on this guy, the better.
I don't think he needs a title, but he is a fucking megastar. And I don't know when he won me over. I didn't used to be on the Osprey bandwagon. Like, I've always appreciated him in ring as a wrestler. He's obviously phenomenal. But I've always been like slightly put off by him or his presence, and not just his heel work. Like, literally, just like he irked me. Something about him.
I mean, he was a capital D douchebag in his 20s. There's no doubt. Like, his inherent personality to it.
Yeah.
Like, the aura he gave off, the whole smugness that was Will Ospreay. Oh, yeah, it was absolutely there in his 20s.
He's softened as he's aged. I don't know what Alex Windsor did to him, but
hey,
he's definitely a different. He's definitely a different Osprey, and I'm here for this.
Hey,
Osprey.
Cheers to Alex Windsor. My God,
100%.
Hey, if her knees, knees can keep up with the game, then she is someone. Like, she's been on top of my prospect for major league list for years and years, but her knees just won't. They won't stay, right? And if she has the personality, because Osprey was not like this prior to her,
right?
Exactly. This more humble. I mean, he's an adult now, is what I'm basically saying.
Okay, so he was on the 3rd or 4th Jericho Cruise. It was like right after he broke up with B. Priestley, and he was a fucking menace on that boat. Holy shit. He was injured. He wasn't booked to do shit except be there. And he was just shit-faced the whole time. He was having a great time, single life. Like, it was great.
Hey man, big breakup does things,
to just
right?
kind of like
been there.
Right? I think he needed it to just kind of like shake it off and refresh. And then I don't know when he started hanging out with Alex, but yeah, man. He's a new man, even since that cruise, which was not that long ago, 2 years. This is in the last like 18 months.
Yeah, and you kind of in that last 18 months, you definitely have seen the different persona, a more adult oriented, and that's what's really clicked with people and the audience too, because the Osprey that wasn't a thing a couple years ago.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So the personality and aura and how he is able to connect with people is so much more, and that's so important. It really reminds me of, and look, I'm a Bret Hart fan, I'm a big Sting fan. These are the two guys that I'll throw Kenny Omega and AJ Styles in there too. 4 guys. Those 4 guys. Those are the guys that have clicked with me the most throughout my wrestling fandom. And Osprey has reached that point with me where his personality and aura and how he presents himself in the ring, how he comes out, how he interacts with the crowd, it's all come together to be that. And that's very special. So
I agree.
He is coming into AEW at the perfect time, and that's why I think there's no fucking around with this guy. And they're going Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson right out of the gate at Dynasty. That's coming up, which I'm fully behind, because Danielson's winding down his career and Ospreay is on the way up to Major League officially.
Right. Plus, I think they learned their lesson from CM Punk, right? Don't sit on the dream matches. Get them in while you can. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm not saying Ospreay is a Punk. I'm saying you don't know what's going to happen if there's a match you want to do. it while you can.
Yeah, so
That's what I mean.
I do agree. I do agree in the state and in fact that sitting on first time matches, I think is overrated. Like sitting on a first time match for 4, 5, 6 years, I don't think that does as much as just doing it right away. And then once they've done it once, I think the bigger attribute is now the rematches, because now you have built-in stories to that, and that's what you can build off over the years and a decade from now, and that kind of thing. That's what builds the draw, right? So if Danielson is retired full time, you could always go back to an Ospreay or Omega versus Danielson match 1, 2, 3 years down the line, and it means that much more because you can harpen back to their first encounter.
Yes.
So Ospreay Takeshita. Now they beat Takeshita a lot, but the good thing about Takeshita is he's fucking awesome, and he can lose matches like this still, and still be super over. The faster they can,
Right.
I don't hate the Don Callis affiliation with Takeshita, but I wish they'd do more with the guy. I wish they'd do more in the sense to make him a bigger deal than just go out there and put on a good match, because that's what Rey Fenix did for a long time. I think both Rey Fenix and Takeshita they're more than that. They're more than good wrestler go out and put on a 5-star match. There's so much more than just the in-ring, and they constantly prove it by the stories they can tell in the ring. And this Ospreay Takeshita match, by the way, my match of the year. It's not even a question. I adored this match. This is the example of me going full 5 stars, full 3 rack, and there's still minutes left in the match, because that's the difference between me going, that's a 5-star, and, 4.5, 4 3/4, there's something missing. This wasn't missing a thing. And I like this more than Ospreay Omega that happened at Forbidden Door, that I went to live. Because everything I detested about that match and what ruined the experience, this match I thought was just as good from the in-ring perspective and the storytelling perspective in the ring and the just basic build of it all, right? There was no Don Callis interference. There was no outside. It was just one guy goes in, beats the other in phenomenal fashion. That's why this gets a 5-star match. That's the difference between me walking out of, or at least watching this match, and walking out of Omega Ospreay in Toronto going, I think I've seen better. Because that's what I thought. Because I didn't have this like visceral attitude towards certain instances of the match that I thought ruined my experience.
What?
Yeah. I came on here and said Omega Ospreay at New Japan was the greatest match I've ever seen in my life. And then when I saw Omega Ospreay in Toronto live, I did vastly enjoy it. I think it's one of the greatest matches I've ever seen. But when I look at an Ospreay Takeshita, to me it eclipses that. Because it didn't have any of the negatives. I adored this. This is going to be tough to beat for match of the year. This is my kind of match. High spots, storytelling, hard hitting, Takeshita going down, like thinking he's paralyzed with the fingers and shit. Like, oh my god. Brain busters in the corner that are kind of botched, and yet they put it into the match.
Oh my god.
And make it a thing.
Oh my god.
This match was awesome.
It was an incredible match. My top as well.
You know why I know it's also one of the best matches ever and of the year?
Why?
Because haters will point this out and try to put it down.
I have not heard anyone trying to put this match
down. My god. This is on a slew of lists of like, Ospreay doesn't know how to sell, there's no selling in AEW, like, they'll put out GIFs of this. It's all over the place. Yeah. This match irritates people. because of what it represents.
Okay.
Yeah. Samoa Joe
Haters,
defeats Adam
right?
Page and Swerve Strickland 20 minutes. Joe wins, taps out Page, just kind of how we thought it would. Good match.
Yep.
Third favorite match on the show? Fourth. I put it 4.
Excuse me. So, one, two. I would put it third, I think. Ospreay Takeshita 1, Sting and Darby 2, then the world title number 3, maybe.
Yeah, and I got BCC FTR above this one, so
Maybe.
we're
Yeah.
we're kind of close there.
Yeah.
Okay. What else we got? Anything else? Let's see.
I feel like
Osprey Fletcher was excellent. Riho Statlander was good.
very good. Very good.
Kevin Kelly's fired for being a QAnon freak.
I mean, it's not just that. He was fired for vomiting all over Twitter.
Well, that does happen. If you're a public figure, do not vomit all over social media. That's for sure. Yeah, I think we've kind of hit on everything we need to. Any other thoughts? Excited for the build to Dynasty, I guess? And big business?
I'm super excited for big business. I cannot wait to see. I mean, fucking Pac is back. Okada, man. Okada showed up as a heel.
I think that's a good decision. Him with the Bucks, fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, we knew Ospreay was going to come in as a face. Like we were like, this is what's happening. So I thought the decision, to put him with the Bucks was very smart. And that's how to do it.
All right, I got to get out of my Sasha Banks drops to go to WCW because that's what's next. Oh boy.
Okay.
Here we go. Nitro. Monday Night Nitro, WCW March 27th, 2000, 2 weeks removed from Uncensored 2000, here in South Padre, Texas. My spring break stomping grounds, Rickee. Attendance 5,000 people outside on the beach of South Padre Island. What was I doing in the year 2000? Oh, right, I was 12, so not quite. Not quite the age of me partying in South Padre, but we're a few years away. I do know the experience of South Padre Island.
Well, that's what I was thinking this whole time. I was like, I wasn't too much younger than these spring breakers. I graduated high school in 2002. So
Okay.
I was, so I'm high school aged at this time. Oh man.
Yeah, you'd be South Padre Island bound. At that age? Oh yeah.
Maybe.
For sure. If you grew up in Houston, you'd go to South Padre Island for the weekend. For sure.
Yeah. Well,
I went in 2004. I went in 2004 and 2005. Those were my years.
you did.
Yeah, because I graduated in 2006 in a foreign country.
Oh, true.
Yeah. But anyways.
So here's what we got.
Oh my god.
Here's what we got.
This is the funniest fucking show of just ridiculous. Everything was like shot terribly and made it immensely funny.
Oh. The production was, oh my gosh, trash. or like a location event, like, oh my God. Yeah. Terrible, terrible. Oh my God. Breaking news while we sit here. AEW related. Sorry, breaking news.
Okay.
Well, it's not wrestling news. It's personal lives of wrestlers.
Oh.
CJ Perry and Miro have split up.
Ooh. Is it because of her finger? I understand. That thing was gross. I wouldn't be able to take it.
No, I can't imagine. And I don't want to speculate, and I can't imagine how hard it is to be a public figure and go through a public separation. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just thought it was interesting.
Well, WCW would spend a lot of time on it and make it an entire show between relationships and clashing. Russo and Bischoff have agreed to come together and work together, and the personalities will collide. They will be the bookers, the co-bookers of WCW. How will they get along, Rickee? Can you believe it? That is the leading story and the story of the show, even though they were never seen. Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff.
Yeah, they're back, huh?
They're gonna be back, if not back already.
Yeah.
No Sid Vicious on the show either.
Well, that was true. That's true. That's true. This show was garbage. There was a lot of boobs, though, so I guess whatever.
Tons of boobs.
And butts. We saw a lot of Kimberly's butt.
Kimberly did come out to
Kimberly
promote...
comes out.
Yeah, she came out to promote DDP, who's going to be in Ready to Rumble.
She's basically wearing a sheer Princess Leia bikini outfit, sort of. It's a bikini with a sheer sarong over it, but the bottom of her bikini is a thong, so it's just butt everywhere. She looks phenomenal, though. I'm not shaming this at all. She has it all.
You know what's wild?
He looks better now than he did then.
Sure. You know what's wild, though?
What's wild?
So they have no qualms about showing so much boobs and butt across this show, right?
Right.
Yet, I don't recall Stacy Keibler or Tori Wilson on the show at all.
That's true. They advertised the magazine that Tori Wilson was the centerfold.
But how easy is that? We're in the year 2000. We're on South Padre. It's spring break. And they hardly show the Nitro Girls and your main two, like, storyline attractive women. Like, if we're gonna exploit women and have a good time at the beach, and you're forgetting this stuff, what's going on?
Well, Jeff Jarrett's women came out and he didn't send them away for once.
He did not.
To let them
Big
stay.
babyface move from heel Jeff Jarrett. Yeah, very weird. But Kimberly looked phenomenal. Like, yeah.
Unbelievable. But like I said, DDP looks better now than he did then. But they were promoting Ready to Rumble, which comes out like a week after this episode of TV that we watched. I've never actually seen it.
Oh, I was about to ask you.
Do we need to do a watch along? Do we need to do a watch along?
I think we do. How do we watch Ready to Rumble in 2024?
I have it. It's fine.
You have it?
We can do it. I can watch it in Discord. Yeah.
Oh.
We can watch it in Discord.
Well, the whole thing's also on YouTube, so.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Anyway, so
okay.
Jeff Jarrett,
so are we?
So they're out.
Are we doing loose, like 2-minute review of the movie in the next episode?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
It might maybe instead of Nitro next episode.
Oh,
do the movie.
You know what? Next episode is a recap of like Nitro bests.
Oh, great! So we'll skip that and we'll watch Ready to Rumble instead.
And just watch Ready to Rumble. Excellent. Done deal.
Nailed it. Okay. Oh, by the way, okay. So the music that DDP came out to. So I'm watching my rip of it, my VHS rip of it.
Okay.
It sounded like Smells Like Teen Spirit. It might have been.
That's his entrance music.
Hang on. Don't chime in yet. Don't chime in yet. It might have been a license-free sound-alike, but it sounded like Smells Like Teen Spirit. Then I was like, but it might actually be Nirvana. Then I went to Peacock to see if they changed the music on Peacock to know if mine was actually Nirvana, maybe. And I went to Peacock, and sure enough, it was a different song on Peacock than it was on my VHS rip. So it might actually have been Nirvana.
So, fun facts. A lot of baby faces and heels in WCW had rip-offs of licensed music. DDP had Nirvana. Chris Jericho had, I don't know, some band. You get the idea.
Well, and I mean, and we've talked about how the
Sting's original music was Metallica.
Have the Godfather theme. Oh, true.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Then we find out Russo's back. There's a poolside clip of Scott Steiner with no purpose except to show three women leaning on the side of the pool to show off their boobs. Like, that was literally the only point of that clip.
He's a genetic freak. Don't you forget.
Yeah, okay. The artist has a match, which...
Oh, does he?
was okay. It was okay.
He was against the jobber and he lost.
He did lose to a jobber. And there was some shenanigans on the outside, but they didn't affect the outcome of the match for once. So that was interesting. And there's a really, 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 really long spring break video package.
There's quite a few of them throughout the show.
Like 3
Boobs,
minutes.
college, Texas.
This one isn't an ad.
Woo!
It isn't an ad. It is just spring break, spring break, spring break. And
what
we
if
see
I'm gonna
Hogan and
pose
Jimmy
this?
Hart show
What
up.
if
Yeah, go
AEW
ahead.
does
Yeah.
a spring break video like this in 2024?
It's not a thing. That wouldn't happen. Like,
Why not?
I don't know what you're proposing.
I'm proposing AEW goes to South Padre Island or Cancun or something in spring break 2024 and does a show like this.
I mean, they did the cruise episode, and they did the Bash at the Beach for the cruise.
They usually have done Bash
They
of the
call
Beach
it
in like
Bash of the Beach.
Cleveland,
Did
though.
they
It's
call
not
it
the same thing.
Oh, true. Okay.
I'm talking they go to Club La Vela, Cancun, do more of the cruise during spring break. Do something unique during this time. Hit up the college campuses. Come on.
I don't need to see
Who
it.
would be 3 count in
That's
AEW
not.
right now? Would Chris Jericho be
Nick
in the Disco
Garcia.
Inferno role?
I mean, Garcia would be in 3 count, right?
It'd be Garcia, Jungle Boy, and Sammy Guevara in 3 count. You could totally see Garcia doing that dance in the middle of like Brown University.
Well, that's why I said Garcia for sure. It would be Garcia action and
Sammy Guevara at Rice.
Mark Quinn. No.
I love it.
Prince Nana.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Okay.
Prince no. Look. They're at the U during spring break, and here comes Prince Nana on Swerve. Swerve when I drive.
Anyway, can we get back to WCW? Because I want to fucking get through this.
All right. So Hogan. We have to talk about Hogan.
Hogan cuts his in-ring promo. Okay. So hang on. Before we get into the insanity of it, I haven't watched a lot of Hogan promos.
Oh boy.
The first thing that I figured out from watching this Hogan promo is, you know who did watch a lot of Hogan promos? Jericho. Chris Jericho has watched a lot of Hogan promos. A lot of his delivery is very similar, and the hand motion is very Jericho. Like, yeah, it just, I can separate the two, but yeah, all I could think of during this was Jericho because that's who I'm familiar with, right? Anyway, please set up the insanity that ensues in this promo.
So the show, one long sequence of events is Sid Vicious has put up a $500,000 bounty to anyone who takes out the Hulkster. Okay? Vampiro comes and says, hey man, I'm a good guy. I got face paint. I team with Sting. You got a $500,000 bounty. I'm telling you your face. And he's like, okay, brother. I really love it. Vampiro told me, and so I got his back. Okay, brother? All right? So you got all that? So he gets in the ring. Mean Gene's interviewing him. Comes out, and he goes, I got a $500,000 bounty, brother. And these pythons, they're big. 24 inches. Did you know that, brother? And then the spotlight happens. Music occurs. And out in the distance, way out, blocks away, 15 stories high, my childhood comes crawling back to me. Mean Gene, brother! That's the wall! He's over there! And there's the wall, brother! 15 stories high in the air! Hand up! He's gonna choke slam the Hulkster! He's gonna call out the bounty! It's the wall! Ah! She's walking away. I got her!
While you were reenacting that, I needed to let the dog out of the room because she was going nuts.
She's going nuts for the walls. He's coming after the Hulkster. Jimmy Hart,
I mean,
get your neck brace going with the hot bikini, tiny, leady women.
It's a pretty iconic spot.
I remember this as a child, and I remember watching it with both my parents. It was one of the few Nitros at this point, post 1998. And we're watching this going, oh my God. And my dad goes, is Hulk Hogan serious? Because my dad was a big Ric Flair fan. And he thinks Ric Flair is like mental hospital era at this point. And he hates Jeff Jarrett, even though he liked him. And then my mom goes, I don't understand how he can see him that far. She's very serious about it all. Because she was a big Lex Luger fan. She liked him. You're getting the family preferences here. We all just look at this going, what's happening? This is so weird. We got this D-bag buildings away, high up in the air with a spotlight on him, that if you were in Hulk Hogan's view, you couldn't tell who the fuck that is. Yet he's going, it's the wall! And that somehow sets up the main event.
Iconic. Yes.
That's the main event. The Wall versus Hulk Hogan for a $500,000 bounty that Sid Vicious did, which Hulk Hogan said he doesn't have the cojones to show up tonight, brother, and take him out myself. So I got no problem. I'll take on the Wall, and I'll show all you... Anyways. So, it's the Wall and Hulk Hogan in the main event. Anything else we missed? I mean, Sting and... Oh, no! Sting and Vampiro had a tornado tag match against Luger and Ric Flair.
Okay.
That's what happened in
tornado
between.
Tag, and it spills everywhere. Like somebody gets thrown in the pool, and like literally goes into the beach, and they're rolling around in the wet sand and everything. Nothing is lit.
No.
Nothing is mic'd. It is fucking terrible.
Like, all the spots would have been fun and great, but you couldn't see or hear anything properly. And all you hear is Mark Madden going, in the salsa! In the salsa! In the salsa! They have to say everything 3 fucking times like they're JR. They have to do it.
Yeah, it was terrible. If you want to see a good version of that, go back and watch the AEW Dynamite from the Cruise when MJF gets thrown in the pool. Like, it's just, yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, they even missed.
Oh my God.
They even missed the finish because
another-
you couldn't see it. Where
Right.
Sting pins Lex Luger in the ocean, and then Vampiro apparently took out Ric Flair in the ring, and then they just raised the hand. Bizarre.
I don't know. I missed it. And this is where I start really struggling with this show, because next is another spring break video package. This one is also an ad for Tough Actin' Tenactin.
Hey, athlete's foot. Stuff.
And then Haku had a match, or whatever he's called, in WCW, Meng, which I can't even watch him anymore now that I've seen the clip of him watching the Shockmaster for the first time, which is just my favorite thing on the internet.
Oh, that's funny.
Have you seen this?
I saw that. Yeah.
Okay, have you seen it? Okay, it's the best. I love it. It makes me so happy. And let's see. I stopped. I completely
You can
stopped
skip to
paying
the main
attention.
event. Nothing
There
else
was
matters
another-
now. We've covered everything.
Wait. There was another ad for the Ready to Rumble movie, a video package with Biff naked singing a cover of "We're Not Gonna Take It," I think was the song.
Oh, that wasn't on my copy.
Oh my god! You have to. I'll have to play it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, a whole huge video package with clips from the movie and Biff naked singing "We're Not Gonna Take It." At least Biff naked was cool once. I kind of enjoyed that, but that is literally where I stopped taking notes. I paid no more attention to the show after this. I was done. I was so bored. I texted you. I was like, I'm bored. I can't.
I thought this was one of the funniest nitros. It's right up. It's right up there. Like, don't get me wrong. So much shit's boring and doesn't make sense. But in terms of memorability, the wall on the 15-story building, miles away, and building up to a main event with the way it did, is right up there with Ric Flair getting beat up in a cornfield in Florida by the NWO, and him walking back into the building via a trucker in Florida to get up beaten up by the NWO again. Like, the
Oh my
1 and
God.
2. Like, they're so funny. It's just an absurd level of comedy. So the Wall and Hogan meet in the main event. It's a 50-50 affair. Hogan no-sells the chokeslam. The Wall no-sells the leg drop. And then, for no fucking reason that any of us can figure out, the babyface, Vampiro, comes out and interferes for a DQ for Hogan to technically lose the match. And they double team the Wall to put him through a table in which he no-sells, and then says, "You guys are fucked. You guys are screwed. Gonna kick your ass." And then it goes off the air. I
Yeah, it was
don't
really
even know what to make of any of this. It's so bad. This is the instance where this was another thing, and I'll leave it at this. Because of the Sting retirement, people are referencing this era of wrestling from like 96 to
Mhm.
2001 as the Attitude Era,
Right.
or the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression, as like a peak of wrestling. And I'm rewatching all of this, and WCW is hot garbage. WWF isn't really any better. It has bigger stars, and they're booking the stars better, but the shows aren't good. And we're getting shit like this in the main event. WCW is the bottom of the barrel. So by default,
Oh, it's crap.
Yeah. Horrible. It's a horrid
What's
show.
going on in WWE right now?
So
while
in
we're watching
March
this?
2000, let's see. Let's do a quick search. March 2000 WWF. Let's see what comes up. You know what? WrestleMania 2000. That was notorious for being terrible.
Well, that's true. I mean, I even know that.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the four-way with The Rock, Triple H, McFoley, Big Show, with a member of the McMahon family in each corner. So that's what's going on there. Yeah, that was bad.
Okay.
A rehash of the No, there was a triangle ladder match. Eddie Guerrero, no. Triple threat. Oh yeah, every match was like a triple threat or a fatal four-way on the show. That's right. Yeah, WrestleMania 2000 was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what's going on in the Fed. Not a great show. Nitro sucks. But we got the wall, brother. Don't you forget.
Yep.
I'm going to get clips of that and play it randomly.
Well, okay. Well, next time we'll have Ready to Rumble for you. We'll have reactions to Mercedes' debut. We'll have reaction to Pac and Okada wrestling for the first time ever. I need to know where that singles match is going to be so I can hop on a plane. Like, I have to be there. I don't know what I'm going to have to do to get there. But if that's going to be a singles match soon, I have to be there. I have to be there. I don't know what it's going to take.
All right, everybody.
I'm going.
That does it for this rendition of RLR. I had fun. This was fun. I love talking Revolution.
As always.
This WCW episode was insane, at least in terms of the wall. It piqued my interest. So, Rickee, it's been a blast. See you next time.
Cheers.